I love you guys.
Welcome to Torg Stories Podcast, Sunday, May 25th, recording 2:06 Eastern. Today we talk Knicks Pacers series. I give a report to Ann on the Indiana Fever. We both saw Mission Impossible Final Reckoning yesterday. And then we talk second chances from the second to last Ted Lasso episode, season 3, episode 11. And the Pacers are off to a 2-0 lead. They play tonight. What do you think have been the keys to success for the Pacers, or what do you expect?
First, I'd like to note that we're both wearing our new Pacer shirt.
I'm going to shout out Homage, Homage. They're my favorite T-shirt ever. We could use an Homage sponsorship, so I wanted to let everybody know that.
Yeah, I have some Homage. Yellow, I would never pick yellow. It looks good, though. Sometimes I think yellow on white people doesn't look that great.
Ooh.
It like loses its color, like the person loses its color, but actually it looks good. I like it.
I went bold. I wanted to go bold for the pod.
Yeah, I got a very generic shirt. I don't love it, but it fits all right.
So both of our shirts came on game 2 day. We think they might be.
Mine got delivered to the door during the game, which I thought was pretty weird. Yeah, I think I had a lot of luck, added some luck to the game, I hope. Anyway, my keys to the game as a non-expert basketball analyst. First of all, I hear a lot of people disagree with me, but I personally think the Pacers are a better team with more better players.
Even Don Staley was on television saying, well, she said something to the effect of, well, the Knicks have a better team. I was like,
yeah, I don't see it. The Knicks have two really good players, but they also are not great defensively. And we got like 7 solid players. So I don't totally agree with that.
Nice.
And they probably are getting tired. It looks like they're tired at the end of the game, right? They're being run up and down because we have a good transition offense, a running offense, and they want to kind of slow it down at half court. And we run a true offense where passing is kind of the key. And I think those things are winning out so far. I mean, I still feel nervous. I feel like we cannot drop this one. I don't want to drop it just like the Cavs game, but we could. I mean, we could drop it for sure. But if we can't drop 2, I don't want to drop 2 and be back to 0. You know what I mean?
Right. You want to keep the home court advantage that you've
at least split this. If we could sweep them, wonderful. I'll party all day. But if we could just split this,
are you taking the day off?
Party all day. Who knows what that entails? Probably me laying out on the couch, drinking and eating. But yeah, that's what I feel. I guess that we have solid. They do a lot of like Brunson here. Brunson has the ball, and Brunson's going to score, which he's very successful at. But that seems tiring to me. And it doesn't seem like a real offense.
Yeah, let's pause. And Ann's partying is laying on the couch, drinking and eating.
Yeah, well, that was a joke, but yeah.
Drinking and eating is good. I have a couple of the same points. I think my number 1 was balanced attack for the Pacers.
Right, exactly.
So you have like Nesmith, game 1, went 8 of 9 from 3. I think that included 6 threes in the 4th. Some people haven't even heard of Nesmith probably. And then Siakam goes for 39 in game 2. So the Pacers have a lot of guys who might do that. Turner could do that.
Right. Nebhard's giving you 15. Turner's giving you 15. Somebody on the bench is going to give you 10. I get a couple guys on the bench give you 5. So, yeah. Also, Josh Hart, he doesn't seem to really be existent right now, right? Am I just dreaming on that? I don't think he's playing very well. He's not a really scorer,
set out more last game than we're used to seeing.
Yeah.
I mean this as a compliment, even though some people would say it's saying something negative. To me, Halliburton reminds me a lot of Harden. I think when Harden is good, he's spraying the ball around to a lot of people who hit shots. And then I think of course you would have to say, okay, Harden's had some bad playoff games, but Halliburton had at least one where he didn't score very much. So they look a lot better when people are hitting shots. And Halliburton is the hub, but he's not the hub in the sense that he's scoring in the way that Brunson is the hub, and everybody's giving it to Brunson, and Brunson's trying to score. So Halliburton is a key, excellent player who gets other people really good shots, and that's working awesome. And then I would say timely shooting. Brunson and Cat, very good, but as you pointed out in your text to me, both missed pretty open threes in that last game.
Right. I mean, let's think how tiring it must be to be Jalen Brunson. bringing up the ball, someone's guarding you full court, kind of. And then you're not really running this great play. You're just kind of ISOing and going in and shooting it and making it, a good number of times. But my God, that's tiring, right?
Yeah, I think if you've not played point guard at all, you don't have any idea how much different that is. Even playing, in a pickup game where someone's picking you up and you're the one doing all the dribbling, that's about all you can do. Um, so he's doing all that, and the Pacers are making him play defense a lot, him and Cat. So like I texted you for game one, I texted you and said, there's still time for the Knicks to get tired in this game, and there's still tired for the Knicks to get tired in this series. So just as we keep playing, I keep looking for them to get tired.
Right. And, just going back to Brunson bringing the ball up, just as a point guard, which I'm really have never been a point guard, but just seeing that someone is pressuring you full court, even though you have no problem with the pressure, you still have to exert more energy to get by the pressure. And if you look up and no one's pressuring, you just walk it up. That's nothing, right? But the Pacers are pressuring him, and they have the bodies to pressure him. So yeah, I think as long as we make the shots, I feel like we'll be good. Um, and
So
Knicks miss some timely shots would be great too.
a year ago, the Pacers were sort of known for blowing games late that they led. Now, if the Pacers, and I'm almost ready to go to that we pronoun, if we're within five and we're in the third quarter and there's 8 minutes to go in the game and it's a 5 point game, I feel pretty comfortable still.
Yeah, I feel comfortable if we keep it within 10 up to the fourth, mid fourth quarter. Then I start to get a little nervous, I guess. But, once it's 23rd, I mean, I watched a little bit of that Oklahoma game yesterday, and it was like ridiculous blowout. And so that I have a fear of that happening
Yeah.
for this first game, even though it's opposite. They were playing away and we're playing home, but you just never know. But
So,
yeah, I have faith in us, even if we do lose one or two more
so I
games.
don't usually give out specific numbers. Um, but last October, I threw down that $5 bet on the Pacers to win the Eastern Conference, which pays 110. And so they're offering me $79 payout right now. And I think the fear with losing is just what we saw with the Thunder is like, well, what if all of a sudden the Pacers lose by 30 today? And then we're like, what?
Right. Then there's so much pressure on that fourth game. But the Pacers really responded to Cleveland when that happened, didn't they? So I always feel like our guys mentally aren't going to lose it, and they're always in it. So I have faith in them there. And I really thought when you told me that bet, I really did think it was a stupid bet. I did not think there was any way they would win the championship, which now they
The Eastern
obviously have a
Conference,
real,
not the NBA title, the
yeah,
Eastern
the
Conference.
Eastern Conference championship, which now they really have a real shot of doing so. But I totally thought that was a blown bet, but it was only $5, so who cares? But
Right. I mean, it's such a small amount that people are like, whatever. But I only bet on one team. It's not like I threw down seven bets on seven different teams
right, yeah.
to win the Eastern Conference. I picked our Pacers. I have even seen the Pacers a couple times. So every once in a while, I'll mention Kate Sears, who's going to Virginia Tech, that played for Watauga this year. Kate would have a lot of times where there would be no one on the ball when we're taking it out of bounds, and there would be two people on Kate trying to deny her the ball. And I've seen the Pacers do that a bit to Brunson, and that is so when you do that into a denial and then you double every time they catch it, that is a nightmare.
Yeah, that sounds exhausting. I don't want any part of it, the denying of the ball. But yes, I think it's been very effective.
So also something yesterday I saw with the Fever game, transitioning to my report on the Fever. Halliburton's there in the front row, which
Right.
I kind of get. I mean, the way that I put it was, let's say at Watauga we're playing Lake Norman best of seven, and we travel. We go to Lake Norman and win, and we come home, and the next day in the early afternoon, Watauga boys are playing. Um, yes, it's fun to go cheer them on, but I got a lot to do.
Right, yeah. I mean, they did this during the Cleveland series, but they were all up in the suite. I don't know what the front row stuff, yeah, because you got so many more eyes on you. But
So
yeah,
I think maybe he does some rehab, maybe he works out at the facility, and then he just tags that
I
onto.
assume, but it was an early game too. Well, for me it was. I don't know what time that was.
It was 1 o'clock for
Yeah.
us. Charlotte really liked Halliburton's sweatshirt. She was trying to look it up. So, I think maybe Charlotte's becoming a little bit of a Halliburton fan. I can get her to
I
watch some
missed it. I've
Pacers.
seen a lot of little, I saw a couple GQ videos of him talking about his watches and so forth. So interesting stuff, I
And
guess.
then the coach was there, and that's the part where I'm just like, I
Rick
cannot.
Carlisle was there?
Yes,
Oh,
I wondered if he like came out for the fourth quarter and sat down. They showed him very late in the game.
do you think, I mean, do they have offices there? What?
Yeah, I mean the practice facility is
The
there.
practice facility is at that same facility. Okay.
Yes, so I sort of think that they're just
Yeah,
you know
they're there.
you could
You
walk
can
out of
go
your
out and
office
watch a
and watch the
game.
fourth
Yeah.
quarter.
You
Yeah,
can't just burden your mind the whole day. You have to free it a little.
maybe that's true. Maybe I should free my.
Yeah. Free
Yeah,
your mind a little bit.
that's what the
Relax.
that's what the podcast is for.
There's life.
So you and have watched Zero Fever so far?
I watched like a minute here, a minute there. But yeah, I keep forgetting about it. I did get a recurring charge by credit card for WNBA.com. I was like, damn it. I wish I could have canceled that because so much of it's not on WNBA.com anyway.
Almost all of it's on the game. Almost all of it's on TV now.
Yeah, it's on TV. It's like, I didn't realize it's recurring. I'm usually very good at tracking that stuff. So I already put a calendar invite for next year to say cancel
And it was
WNBA.com.
like $40.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the end of the world, but
In some
you know,
ways, I don't mind giving them the money, but now they're making money, I think.
yeah, now they're making money. I don't need to be giving you any free money.
So
Yeah.
the Fever are off to a 2-2 start. They hammered the Sky, and then you probably heard or saw about the Clark Reese dust up.
Right. Yeah. Which seems stupid to me. Like I would foul people like that all day long. No problem.
Yeah, I think my number one thought on that is it's great for the league. I don't know how much Angel and Caitlin purposefully think if I give her a little extra shove or look or get in her face, that's, a million more eyeballs on us, if not more.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, are they that calculated? Perhaps, but
Like
I think they're probably
I ended up believing that I thought Dennis Rodman was that calculating.
yeah, and people are probably more calculated than we give them credit for.
Yeah.
Um, but that can be on the other side of the coin too, where they're just emotional people and that's how they behave. Caitlin Clark obviously has crazy emotional intensity, and Angel Reese does too. So those
I
two
would
things together might
compare,
equal things. Her intensity is
I'll
Michael
just say,
Jordan-esque, maybe.
yeah,
I don't know.
I'll just say who is worse, even though I might be able to come up with a better question. Who is worse, Luca or Caitlin?
I don't know that much about Luca. I guess I've never really seen Luca like angry screaming. I'm sure he does. He just seems to be talking to the refs all the time.
Yeah.
But is he getting fights and stuff with other
I
players?
think
Or?
I would put Luca at a tiny bit worse. I think Luca bows out of the play to complain or sulk just a little bit more than Caitlin does. And I may be being influenced by Caitlin being in way, way, way better shape than Luca.
Right. I don't enjoy watching Luca. I think I've stated that before. I recognize his slivers of greatness, but as a whole, I don't love him.
So
Uh,
then they lost to Atlanta by one. They had a ball side out of bounds. Clark took it out. Didn't look like the play worked. I think I'm spaced on. Oh, Natasha Howard got her shot blocked at the buzzer. That made me want to. I think Atlanta is going to be pretty good.
yeah, which is surprising because they're not normally good, right? I've looked at some box scores. The only thing I've noticed in the box scores is like Dewana Bonner's not doing anything, right?
Different, right? I have that in a different
Score
section,
wise.
but I will say, so I'm a member of I look at Fever Twitter, Caitlin Clark Twitter, same with Facebook. I'm a member of two Fever Facebook pages, where I just sort of like enjoy seeing what the fans are saying. And they were really angry with Stephanie White, the coach, for saying they took the ball out of Caitlin's hands. I'll circle back to that when I go through the rest of their games. I like Dewana Bonner, I think, more than most social media or fans. So if Bonner is rotating in as a four with Boston and Natasha Howard, who's a new player from Atlanta, I think Atlanta, is that where she was last year?
I don't know where she's from. I've heard her name, but
Yeah. But Bonner's length is fantastic. Her attitude seems great. So she blocks shots, she rebounds, she's not looking to take a bunch of shots. So I like her. I really like her off the bench. And I sort of assume since she came over with Stephanie White from Connecticut that they probably have a pretty good relationship and they're on the same page. So I like her more than most.
Yeah, I guess I was just looking at the box score and the numbers really weren't adding up
Sure,
to me.
not
Yeah.
scoring, right? And so then they turn around and beat Atlanta, and I think one of my number one takeaways about the Fever are that it's harder than it's ever been for Clark to get a decent 3-point look.
And
So
why is
she
that?
just defenses, just you know, interface, doubling her. She's essentially Steph Curry now, having to hit those kind of shots. So I actually didn't like their chances playing. I thought Clark played above average against Atlanta and hit some really difficult shots that I didn't think she could hit steadily. And I thought they might lose to Atlanta again because I thought Clark couldn't match that. Clark actually had her first game ever not hitting a three in the second Atlanta game, but she got a lot of other people's shots and they won that game.
Okay.
And so then they had a 12-point lead. I think in the fourth quarter, the Liberty lost. Clark had a chance to tie or win the game. Kind of was hoping for a call. I don't really think she should have got a call. So a little, what are we going to do at the end of the game kind of situations.
Right. Yeah. Well, the Liberty also have really some good big players, right? So what's Indiana's
I,
bigs
I
look like?
think that, so that's
I hate
Boston.
calling them bigs. I never liked
Yeah,
that,
it's
but I don't
Aaliyah
know what's
Boston.
yeah.
Boston looks great. She looks much improved. I do think sometimes here comes something sexist, maybe. Jump on me if it is, listeners. I think WNBA bigs can tend to cancel each other out sometimes. I mean, Jonquel Jones, former MVP, we could just say it's her. So it maybe not be bigs, but it's hard for Boston to do a lot at the rim. A little bit true of Caitlin as well when they're playing Jonquel Jones. It's almost like she's not quite as tall. She's not quite as tall relatively as Wemby. But when you're playing Wemby, it's just like, well, how much can I do in the post here if I'm playing Wemby?
Right. Well, I've always thought of Boston. I actually don't know how tall she is, but I felt like she's a shorter big, if you
Yeah, just
will.
just a little
Yeah.
teeny bit undersized.
And my
But
guess would be she's like 6'4" or something, but I really don't know.
and she does a really nice job of putting her shoulder into people's chests, creating a little space and scoring, but it's a lot when it's John
You're
Jones.
right.
So I forget who was doing the color on the game, but they were calling for a lot of middle ball screens, and you're putting Jonquel Jones in all those ball screens, and it's just not quite. I actually, I mean, one thing I favor a fair amount for a really good guard is to get out of the way.
Right.
So quit
So,
bringing this crowd over.
right. So for you, the supporting cast is better this year for sure, or
Yes,
what's
I
the
think
deal?
for sure
Yeah.
better. For sure, for sure, for sure better.
For
Number
sure.
one,
Okay.
veteran professional experience.
Right.
Natasha Howard in the post is a obvious upgrade. I mean, I've just had like a 5% concern. She's really, really looking for her own shot, and she's definitely not thinking, where's Caitlin? That might be a good thing, and she might come around to that a little bit more. And something I'm almost positive of, Natasha Howard will and Caitlin Clark, their timing together will get better, and they have some turnovers trying to hook up right now that I think will diminish as the season goes on.
Right. So you have a positive outlook, kind of.
Really positive outlook.
Really
Um,
positive.
yeah,
Oh,
I mean, they won the third quarter 30-13 over the Liberty. I mean, I sort of felt like, and time will tell, but I felt like Atlanta is a contender and people don't realize that yet, which is maybe a little absurd because I think their over under win totals are in the low 20s. And then to outplay the Liberty that much, I thought they're running away from the Liberty, but the Liberty came back.
Liberty came back, right?
All
It was
right.
a New York Indiana matchup. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. That was a fun game. A lot of, good players in that game.
It was a little too early for me. I think it was 10 a.m.
10
I'm
o'clock
just
for
not
you
into
on a
watching
Saturday.
basketball at that time. Indianapolis, very exciting weekend for the
I know.
Naptown. They got
Yeah.
the 500. Could be happening right now. I think
I
it
think it
probably
is.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ann and I not watching.
not watching. I used to really be into that too.
Our dog doesn't board. She doesn't play well with others. And then I don't think mom wants to take a trip to Indianapolis, but minus that, it would have been a good weekend to run up to Indiana and see a couple basketball games.
Right. Probably hard to get a hotel room, but yeah.
That's my kind of spontaneous trip. One more Fever player to mention. So I talked about Natasha Howard. I talked about Dewana Bonner. Sophie Cunningham, um, blonde, looks so much like Lexi Hull that Izzy Torgerson, who doesn't know the roster that well, was confused and thought they were the same player. Then she thought they were twins, and she finally saw the difference by the end of the game and their looks.
Right. Plus, Lexi Holt does have a twin
Didn't know that, Ann. Nice,
who
nice.
actually kind of looks different, but yeah, they played
Charlotte,
together at Stanford.
Charlotte wants to know where they get their headbands. She likes them. We can't figure out where they buy them.
I think it's headbands.com, but you'll check.
You do?
No, I don't.
And they both wear the white headband. But Sophie Cunningham, mix it up, defensive mentality, just like, oh, you're going to play rough. I love it. Let me get into that. Good shooting. She's an enthusiastic talking leader. So the team looks like they're hanging together pretty well.
Right. Well, good. Glad to
All
hear.
right. When will you start watching?
Maybe after the NBA, when I got some more time on my hands,
Could be 3 more weeks.
some TV viewing hours. Yeah. I mean, OKC New York Knicks final wouldn't do a lot for me, but
No, we would be done with that.
yeah, I might be done watching it intently for
I'd
sure.
watch first quarters probably after.
I'm not even really watching these OKC Minnesota games. I'm just kind of checking in on it.
No, I just don't like. I mean, I'll stay up for the Pacers tonight. 8:30 start. Those two teams. I watch the first quarter. I go to bed.
Yeah, 5:30 start. The Pacers have been starting at 5 o'clock for me, which is like I can't get home by 5, so I miss a little bit of the beginning.
So we both ended up going to see Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning this weekend. First, tell me about the theater you went to.
I went to the Grove, the AMC at the Grove here. I
You have
got a
choices?
pardon me?
You have choices?
The other choice, I used to have a great one, adults only theater up here in
Mhm.
West Hollywood, but they closed it sadly, and they closed the ArcLight. So around me, it's pretty much the Grove. Although I am going to Century City tomorrow to see the Marvel movie. I forget what it's called, Thunder, whatever.
Oh yeah, because you got the day off.
I got the day off Memorial Day. So anyway, the Grove, I picked a prime seat, which means I got a nice relaxing recliner. So that makes the movie so much better. I can't even tell you. So I saw it in a really nice theater, is what I'm saying. Prime, AMC Prime.
So we
You,
went
Johnson City. How far away is that?
hour and 15 minutes.
Oh my, that's too far.
What's that wagon wheel song? Do you know that? Johnson City, Tennessee.
No.
Charlotte's roommate, Sarah, who's never been here, Sarah Pritz, thought it was a riot that we drove that far to see a movie. And then she sent Charlotte a voice text message where she was singing the wagon wheel song with Johnson City lyric.
Okay, never heard of it. We used to
So,
drive like an hour to Maryville, and I thought that was pretty far, but here you are going an hour and 15.
so first attraction, White Duck Taco, which is in Asheville as well. Izzy likes the General Sal's tacos. She ordered four, $5 a piece. So we really like White Duck Taco.
What do you mean it
Uh,
was in Asheville? So you went to Asheville, then Johnson City?
no.
You said Asheville.
We used to eat at White Duck Taco
Oh, you
in
mean it's
Asheville.
also has a
Yeah, there's
chain. Got
probably
it.
like 4 or 5 now. Maybe there's only
Okay.
two, but I actually think there's probably 4 or 5. Um, so we went there first. Izzy needed some things for a forensics project. She's making like
Oh, love it.
a shoebox crime scene.
Wish I could be in forensics
I
as
know.
a 51-year-old.
Yeah, well, you probably
Let's
can.
take a forensic class together.
So this was an all recliner theater.
Just like me. All
Yeah,
right.
all recliner theater. Um, so there were 5 showings yesterday afternoon and evening. Only one time slot had 4 seats open.
Oh, really?
They were so full.
I had an empty seat next to me, but it was decently crowded.
This was in the back row. And the screen was a little small for me being in the back row. Like it wasn't,
Oh,
the theater's broken up. This was still a huge, how many people you think were in your theater?
I'm not good at estimating numbers.
I'm going to
100?
say 50 in mine.
Yeah.
So my screen was a little, they've broken this up. It's all recliners everywhere. So the rooms are a lot smaller, but I guess they're selling more tickets because you sit in the recliner.
I mean, my rooms are on the smaller side. The room is smaller side because of recliners, but I felt like the screen was the same. I almost got it in IMAX, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to do it.
And then I
How much
had,
you pay for this?
I think it was about $80 for 4 tickets.
Yeah, not bad. I think mine was probably like $20 or something, but of course it was free with my
Yeah,
membership.
I think that's what ours was. And I joined the free membership.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right.
So I downloaded the app, bought the tickets
Yeah.
online, reserved my seats. No one checked for our tickets ever.
Oh, interesting.
We
Well, I
walked
have to show
in.
an ID when I walk in. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
We walked in. So it was free refill slushy, I think. We didn't realize it till we left.
I rarely order because it's so expensive. I had a
Yeah.
popcorn and a drink. It was
So
bad.
we crested $100 to see this movie.
Right. Yeah. And my popcorn, not good at all. It was like stale and old, but I ate it all. Great.
All right. What do you want to? I have a couple things. What do you want to say about Mission? So
My overall grade would be like a B.
yeah.
The first part I found pretty slow. They're recapping things too much,
Mm.
explaining things that I don't hardly understand too much.
Let's
But
pause right
overall,
there for a second.
okay, go for it.
Is it a convention of these movies that they like give these kind of long summaries? And are we supposed to think that's cool because it's like they really sit you down and like explain the whole thing in a like obvious non-conversational way?
I don't think it's a convention. I think sometimes it happens and everybody always complains about it. There's a word for it. I forget what it is. And they say that all the time. Oh, you're giving the whole story because nobody's going to know the storylines of the previous Mission Impossible. I'm not. I didn't know it. I actually, after the movie, I watched a TikTok where a guy explained it, and it was actually very helpful afterwards to get that because he explained each movie.
I did like
And so I've never seen too many movies that show scenes from previous movies in a montage to help you understand what's going on in this movie. So
no, I
no, I
like
found the first part of the movie to be pretty bad.
so so big complaint. Too much complicated exposition about things I don't care about.
Right.
However, with that opposite you, I think really like the ambition in if this is maybe the final Mission Impossible, touching lightly on the all the movies. I really like that. So when they were talking and I got
Yeah, it's an interesting
montages,
thought. I do think though the strength of Mission Impossible is not the plot. The plot is always very hard to understand, frankly. Um, but I guess they kind of almost need to tell you a lot of that because people aren't going to remember it or know it and wouldn't be able to follow it.
I feel
Uh,
like for example, the Bourne movies do a little bit better, and maybe if I laid them out in front of me, I would be wrong, but it doesn't matter that much. I'll pick up enough, and I get that he's chasing someone. It's mostly okay.
right. And the Bourne movies actually were also pretty convoluted, right? It
Yeah.
was kind of hard to understand what's going on there too. And yet ultimately you don't care too much. So I think the time that they gave to try to make you understand was almost too much time. We don't care that much, kind of make it shorter and simpler.
So
I still
yesterday,
don't understand that box he got into, what was going on there. Remember the box he gets into at the
yeah. All
beginning
right.
and he gets stuff, I don't know, implanted in his mind? It seemed
So
worthless to me.
we're in danger of bogging down the podcast in the
Yeah,
way that
sorry.
the movie got. No, not because of your move, but um, the thing it does that I certainly didn't walk out of the movie feeling better about the future of AI.
No, but everybody should be afraid of AI.
They should
Absolutely.
be.
Yes.
So there's this thing called the entity, which is AI. Just think of, sorry, Google, if Google Gemini goes to that extent. So somehow he gets in this box, he's strapped in. I take AI is controlling that box, and AI holds his eyelids open and talks to him about the future and what he's going to do for it.
Right. Yeah. But I still don't see the point of it. I don't see the point of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
So
okay. My
you
strengths. I'll tell you my
wait.
strengths. How
So
about,
you
okay.
graded it. Um,
A
in
B.
the afternoon, Charlotte's another one of Charlotte's teammates. She sent us. I like grades too, but she sent us a number. She sent us, I think, 7.6, and we were like, "Ooh, that's kind of low." And then when I was coming home, I said it might be a 6.8 for me, which would be like a C plus C. But then I said, "Okay, wait." Tom Cruise in his 60s is hanging off two different planes for real and I only paid $20, I have to give it at least a B minus.
Yeah, to me, I enjoyed my time there. It didn't seem exceedingly long. A lot of times you're like, good Lord, this is long. And it felt long, but at the same time, it wasn't horribly long. And to me, the two action sequences more than made up for it. Um, I was most tense during the water one. I thought the water one was quite tense. They had some nice callbacks. I thought the ex CIA code guy from the first movie being in this Bering, was it the Bering Island, or I forget what
The
it's called.
listening station, right?
Right, up in the North Sea, or the Polar Express, whatever.
Baltic,
And
the
his
Polar Express.
his new wife, his wife actually was a very welcome addition. The
It was.
Inuit uh, person who uh, seemed very capable and could hold her own, and even helped defuse a bomb at the end. So, yeah, I thought those callbacks really worked. And at the same time, they did have to tell me who that guy was. I wasn't going to remember that, I don't think.
No, the
Uh,
guy who did he even have a beard in the first one?
yeah, I don't think he did. He looked
No,
much
I
better.
wouldn't have
He
known
looks
him in a
much
million
better
years.
with the beard, I gotta say. But yeah, the flashback of that was good. I found the whole Ving Rhames part pretty ineffective
Mm.
when he died. Spoilers, you know.
Oops.
So Luther come drawback. I mean, was Luther sick? I guess Luther had cancer. I don't understand that too much, but that was pretty ineffective. And my God, what a 3 days Ethan Hunt has had, huh?
It
I
was a
mean,
3 day
how
show.
could he possibly be even walking, let alone doing all these things? Defuse two bombs, go underwater, come back from hypothermia, rip off your clothes underwater, have the bends, all sorts of horrible near-death experiences. I don't think you should come back. And just the hits on your head. How many times has Ethan Hunt been knocked out with a hit on his head? You got dementia. You got some problems, I think, if that happened in real life. But yes, I think the filmmaking was excellent. The two action sequences held it together for me. I kind of missed Elsa. I thought Elsa's a superior female protagonist than this pickpocket thief, but she's fine. But um, yeah, and Simon Pegg, not as funny as he was before. It's still funny, but he didn't have as many good lines.
Simon is Benji.
Benji, yes.
One of the strengths I listed was just seeing the familiar characters. Benji being way up there, Rames being way up there. The pickpocket, I remember her. Is she Russian? What is she? The girl that never speaks English.
Well, she speaks French in the movie, so I
Oh
guess she's
yeah, I
French.
guess
Yeah,
she.
I mean she's Asian person, but I don't.
We argued about that in the car. We're
She's
like,
from Guardians of the Galaxy, and that's where she
we
kind
were
of got
like, where
her
is she from
start.
in this? Her character. Where is she from?
Her characters seem to be from France. Yeah,
All right.
speaking en
Uh,
français.
so I thought this was just kind of interesting. This is, I've probably been to 3 movies in 5 years or something, maybe.
Right? Yeah, amazing.
Um, Makes me think this movie's going to do well. I think it's interesting. You tell me if this was you too. I hear from Nicole Kidman on behalf of AMC Theaters thanking me for coming.
Hmm.
And that cuts right to her ex-husband, Tom Cruise, thanking me for coming to Mission Impossible.
Right. I found the intro stupid. I don't need to see that.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I don't like it. Rarely do you see it. Rarely does it happen. It reminds me when I saw Titanic for the first time, and somebody came out and gave us a talk at the ArcLight theaters. Also, they would used to give out talks, like
Yeah.
the usher would come out instead of introduce the
Oh,
movie. And I'd be like, this is a waste. I don't want to hear you introduce the movie. Anyway, the Titanic person was like, this is the greatest movie you'll ever see in the universe when they introduced it. So anyway, I found the introductions to be stupid. I don't like them.
yeah. I saw that I think he did that on Maverick, and I think there's sort of like a swirl of Tom Cruise playing a big part in
Yeah, Tom Cruise saving from COVID, saving the pandemic, saving the meter
So
theaters.
I like to hear from the artist briefly. I read the foreword of a book. I like it when Stephen King starts his book off and says, "Dear reader," and tells me 3/4 of a page of writing the book, and then I start it.
I feel like there's so much out there in the press that I don't need this. I can, if I want to hear from Tom Cruise directly, I can watch 400 interviews he's done in the past month.
I thought the best part of the movie was Tom Cruise As you said, ripping off his clothes down to his underwear underwater. That to the end was excellent.
I thought very stressful. The idea of being underwater, the idea of
Woo.
being in the dark, the idea of going through a submarine with water pouring through, opening air seals. I don't know what you call those, like air
Yeah,
locks.
right.
Hate it, and then being trapped in there. Someone shoot me now, and now the thing is moving back and forth. Going to go off a cliff in the ocean. A lot of tense, and also hanging on a plane. I don't like it. I don't want to hang from a plane. It seems very scary. I mean, it was a very good sequence, but scary.
How long do you think the movie was?
I believe I looked it up, and it was at least 2.5.
250.
250. Yeah, that's too long.
250 plus 25 minutes of previews.
I looked up the movie, and you got there in time to see everything.
I saw the first preview come on.
Yeah, yeah. The
So
previews
go.
look good. I thought there were some good previews.
Yeah,
I can't think of everything that I saw now.
I
But
like the Brad Pitt Formula One movie was my favorite preview.
right, I didn't see that yesterday, but I saw it a couple. I saw it when I saw the other movie I saw.
Is wants to see
Jurassic Park even looks decent, and I don't even like Jurassic Park.
Megan wants to see it for Scarlett Johansson. I didn't think it looked good.
Yeah,
Is wants to see Lilo and Stitch.
I've never seen Lilo and Stitch, so I don't want to see Lilo and Stitch too.
It's the second one?
Yeah, it's the second one.
Oh wow, I didn't even know. Okay, we didn't get to my likes. I'll finish with my likes. I'll skip the ones that you already said. I don't know. I guess I didn't put them in order. The music, Ann.
The music's good. Yeah,
Give me the theme song. They get
the
so
theme
much out of
song.
that. Like just
Hmm.
anything happening at the end playing the theme song and you feel like, well, that wasn't bad.
Yeah, yeah. I actually thought it had a nice little ending too.
Yeah. Tom and Shape.
Tom's in shape. I mean, he's
Wow.
60 something.
He's
Yeah, right.
jacked and cut. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, he's a
Um,
little saggy, which I like. It's like, hey, I'm an old man.
yeah. I like the guy in charge of the Navy sub.
Oh yeah, he is from the Apple show, which I gave up watching, and he had a really good presence there too.
That wasn't
Um,
Severance, was it?
yes, he's from Severance. I couldn't remember what it was called, and he has a weirdness in Severance because everybody's weird, but he was very effective. I like him. Travis
Hey,
Tamel, something like that.
if you want to poke the bear, you came to the right guy.
I don't get it.
He said that. Tom
Oh
Cruise,
yeah, he did say that. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
he's talking about some Russian commander of a sub, and he's like, if you want to
Right.
poke the bear,
And being on a sub, what a nightmare, right?
what a nightmare.
Never.
I had a guy in the Navy on a sub, and I was like, what's a long trip for you? And it was like 6 weeks or something.
Yeah,
Like,
I used
what's
to
a
work with a guy who was on a sub, and he had a picture in his office of him standing on top of a sub, and it looked like a nightmare.
the whole listening station on the island, the couple, all of their sled dogs. I liked all that.
Right, good stuff. I liked it. Yeah.
We already talked about the French lady who I didn't know what nationality she was. The operation she does on Benji, and she slices up his chest and puts that empty pen so he can breathe. I like that part.
Yeah, pretty amazing for Benji to stay conscious during all
And
that.
then Cruz doing that on the planes. I read an article about all those stunts. The only CGI in that whole scene is taking out the cable wires that were his
Okay.
safety
Yeah.
harness. The rest of it, he was 8,000 feet in the air doing that.
Right. The only negative I would have about that was like, and maybe people would think of this as a positive, but it's like we saw him do the whole thing with the red plane, and then I have to watch the whole thing again with the yellow plane. It's like he did the same thing twice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there were
And
too many.
also, when you're floating down, put the thing in the box already and make connect the two things you're trying to connect. And he waited a long time to connect those.
Okay, we're probably gonna. This is tough. So we've got this. What's the bad guy's name? Gabriel. We've
Yes.
got Gabriel, and Tom's trying to trick Gabriel of sticking the thing into the thing.
Right.
Why was Gabriel running from Tom Cruise? Doesn't he want the thing?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I thought that too, actually. Yeah.
And when the thing got stuck in the thing, that's just supposed to be funny. I hope you giggled. When the thing got stuck in the thing, what did you think would happen? What did happen?
That makes the poison pill hit into not the Enigma, what's it called?
The entity, the
The
AI.
entity. Yeah. I want it to be called the Enigma. The poison pill into the Enigma. I don't know how it could do that unless it's got some kind of Wi-Fi out there, right? Like how is
Well,
that connected to
I do
anything?
think it was It did have that, I think.
Okay. So yeah, it's like a poison pill infecting the Enigma, but then you can't let it stay too long, and that's why the pickpocket lady had to do that little switch over.
So no more AI in the world after this happened.
I feel like that's right, right? No one's
Because
going to
what
control this, right?
Yeah. So what I thought was going to happen was that all internet would be gone. That's what I thought they were talking
Yeah,
about.
they made it think that. Yeah.
But we had power. We had power and we
Yeah,
seemed
the
to have
power
internet.
went back on instantly. So
So I was
yeah,
surprised by all that. And
yeah.
then was Ethan Hunt, Tom Cruise, was he tricked in any of that? Because I
I don't
feel
know
like
what the whole thing was. Jim Phelps was at the end. I don't know. Jim Phelps the second
because
and
Tom's
Kittredge.
character argued that no one should have the singular power to control AI. And I
Right.
feel as if they tricked him and kind of kept the world going and the financial markets didn't crash and we could still move money. And the reason that was possible was because they then gave it all to Tom Cruise. And Tom didn't want it, but they tricked him and gave it to him.
Right.
But that was
Right.
my theory. I don't really know.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. The idea that AI gives you a bunch of false information and convinces people it's real seems very possible, right?
Absolutely.
They could make a video tomorrow of a president saying something insane and start World War III, you think? So,
Even bigger than that, right? I
right,
mean,
yeah.
yeah. And in this movie was pretty contemporary with AI, given that they had to film it in post production, et cetera. I mean, this was written
Right, but the idea of AI, the
right
people developing AI have to know what their goal is, and I'm sure they're aware of what technology is being worked on. You know what I mean?
because all the underwater stuff felt a little 2001-y to me. It also had so much in common with something you might shoot in space too.
Right, but you also realize that this all is very Terminator-esque too. It's 2001-esque and it's Terminator-esque. I mean, these are not, even though
Yeah.
we didn't have AI back in the day, those are all about machines taking over their own individuality or whatever. I don't know, taking over the world.
Okay. Let's shift into Ted Lasso. You ready?
Ted Lasso, Mom City.
Mom, what?
It's called Mom City.
Oh, Mom City. Thank
Yeah,
you,
a
Ann.
play
I
on
did.
Man City.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. We've got a mom question here. Um, I'll start with some general questions and then see what you say and add to it. Why? So Nate's girlfriend, Jade, to me, she's acting a little strange. Every time he refers to her, she disappears. What's going on with Nate's girlfriend?
Right, I got you sent that question to me, and I feel like to me she's not acting all that strange. I'm not sure what you're saying. To me, she's just trying, she knows Nate shouldn't be a waiter, and so she's kind of pushing him to move beyond that, and she's just trying to help him heal. I don't see her acting strange, but I get that you think she's strange.
Um, didn't you used to be the manager at West Ham? Yes, but I like working here. I love working with my girlfriend. Oh, she disappeared.
Oh,
Um,
right, yeah.
and then I think the question when I asked that question, I do think it's answered. Um, she thinks Nate should probably be coaching football. Um, right. She ends up telling her boss that she's quitting if he doesn't fire Nate.
Right, she actually tells her boss she will tell on him to the authorities because he's done
Oh, that's right.
something
I
that's
forgot about
wrong.
that.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
right.
think the boss wouldn't really care if she quit or not, right?
Right. I think
Yeah.
you're right. And so we would say Jade, great girlfriend, giving her boyfriend a little nudge to do a little more with his life.
Exactly. Very understanding. I think she's been acting great. I think the disappearing, as you said, it was just played for a joke. It's funny. And he's a waiter. Why should the hostess be hovering over his table if she has work to
I do think
do?
it was just played for a joke that she's
Yeah,
gone.
yeah.
And it also kept us guessing a little bit until about halfway through this
Right.
episode.
I was distracted by Nate's eyebrows throughout the episode. I We're dyeing these silver, right?
Yeah,
They were a little
absolutely.
too they were a little too much to me this time.
So they have dyed his hair from season one. They have dyed his hair a little bit more and a little bit more throughout the three seasons until he is now wearing a full white wig.
Yeah, it seems too much to me. No,
Yeah.
I don't
It
really get it.
done
Yeah.
for, and I think it's done for it's that old rule that when you're writing, you have to really hammer people in the face with something to even get them to notice it.
Right. What are we trying to say? He's stressed? I don't understand.
Yeah, his going to the dark side and coaching. Yeah. But
Yeah.
let's talk about what Nate's done, because I think Nate's given himself over to this selfish, ambitious, Macbeth-like um, temperament, which, among other things, turned his hair white. Um, and now we're talking about whether or not we bring Nate back on staff at Richmond. What are Nate's primary offenses, would you say?
Well, the fences are what? He left ripping up the belief sign.
So he took
He
this sacred thing to the team and tore it up.
right, like spit on it practically.
Yeah.
He says some pretty mean things in press conferences about them. He totally turns off any kind of personal connection. You know, if they want to say hi, he basically ignores them. So he's gone full dark. One thing I think the episode, or I don't know, the whole arc didn't do well for me is now he's just back. It's like he turned off his bad personality immediately.
Mm.
I don't get that that would be totally possible. Like he had this separate personality of I'm an absolute asshole at work and I'm a nice guy. As soon as he meets Jade, basically he starts being a nice person again. So I don't know how effective that was, but yeah, to me, it's just that he's being a jerk. He thinks he's smarter, better than his old team.
Let's say you go out for a walk at work and you forget your wallet, and someone grabs your credit card and charges something and sticks it back, and they get found out and they're fired. And now they come back to you in 2 months and are like, and we'd like to bring Janet back. We think, she's sorry. Are you okay with that? What's your feeling on that?
I would say beware to trust her. That's what I would say. But I also wouldn't have any power to do anything different. I would just make sure I lock up my purse around her. But I wouldn't like quit over it.
I don't think
But that's kind of different than being a
it is.
coach. Yeah.
So we're on a staff and we have complete betrayal we have consistent betrayal from a staff member. I don't think I bring that staff member back.
Yeah. Why does the second chance have to be with me? This person can get another job within the same field. And also, I can maybe even get a nice relationship back with him, but he didn't have to work for me. That's what I would say.
Yeah,
Maybe we're colder.
It makes me realize that in general, I don't think people change that much.
Right. And also, if you take advantage of me once, what's the shame on me, shame on twice,
right.
Whatever that phrase is.
You like that cliche.
Yeah. I mean, yes, I can get taken advantage of once, but if I let someone take advantage of me twice, then shame on myself. You got to be more aware. But there's another side of the coin. Sure, people deserve second chances. People deserve better things. But I think Nate could have that second chance without having to go back to this. And also, if he goes back to this, I get that it seems like to me by the end that Ted is going to leave. Nate's just going to be an assistant coach. Wouldn't Nate want to be a head coach somewhere? It's probably not even the right situation for him to come back in.
I think I like second chances. I think you can make a huge mistake, realize what you lost, could lose, and then you're like not going to do it again. I guess the thing I'm thinking about is like cheating in a relationship, maybe.
Right. Once a cheater, always a cheater. Right.
No, but I'm saying maybe not always a cheater. Maybe one time, like, oh my gosh, I almost blew all this stuff.
Maybe what you're saying is you don't love a third chance.
Yeah, I think I did. As I listened to you talk, I was thinking maybe I don't love a third chance.
Right. Your husband cheats on me once. We have a huge discussion, blowout fights about it. We kind of move past it, and I believe he can be a better person.
And the cheating,
he cheats on me again. How could I possibly believe him ever again?
And the cheating in a marriage is really different than
something like this,
the betrayal on a coaching staff, or the weak moment, perhaps related to addiction, which we might get to in a little bit.
Right. Somebody badmouths me in public and then comes to me later and apologizes. Maybe I give him a chance, but then he badmouths me again. Well, forget it. You're not giving a third chance. Yeah.
Right. And I think I believe more in growth and evolution than like about face changes.
Right. And think of the things Nate has said about Ted in press conferences. He said some,
Yeah.
he's stupid, kind of pretty much.
Yeah.
So now him and Ted are going to be on the sideline talking together and trusting each other. That's a lot.
It's a lot.
I guess what I'm saying is I don't totally believe the whole arc of Nate very well. They made him too evil, and now they've made him a great guy again, and it's too quick.
I thought there were little signs that Nate wanted to do the right thing, but wasn't strong enough to act on it yet. But
Right.
Certainly your complaint is warranted.
Right.
So Ted doesn't seem to his mom. So it's called Mom City.
Mom City.
So Ted's mom shows up out of the blue. He runs into her on the street. He doesn't seem to want her around. Am I wrong?
I don't think you're wrong, but also, what kind of mom shows up to the country you live in, is there a week and doesn't even tell you, and then meets you outside? I mean, we don't have phones. I mean, I know everybody can be a little strange, but the idea of not telling him is pretty weird to me. So they obviously have a weird relationship.
She seems Ted is sort of her clone from a joke storytelling standpoint.
Right. And also, I think about not dealing with their own problems and just trying to deal with everybody else's problems, right?
Yeah.
She's trying to solve everybody's problem. Ted's trying to solve every problem, but they don't look at themselves.
Right. And, she's a big hit with the team. She's very entertaining. She's quick with the same puns. People know that she's Ted's mom even before he says that's who it is.
Right. Yeah. And they do a good job, I think, of her acting. She acted a lot like Ted, I thought.
And she shows up. Why do you think she's there, do you think, by the end of the episode?
I think maybe she thinks Ted is, she seems to be worried about Ted and his relationship with his own son.
Yep.
And perhaps thinks Ted's in a little bit of emotional trouble and that she could help him. But she does it in a way that probably isn't the best approach, right?
So she ends up, after Ted says F you to her a whole bunch of times at the end. He's mad because she hasn't dealt with her problems, because he says she didn't let him talk about his father's suicide. And then she finally does speak bluntly and says, Ted, your son misses you.
Right, exactly. Which is kind of something we've always wanted to say, like, Ted, you're a great guy, but you are living 2,000 miles at minimum. I don't know, 4,000 miles.
We've been saying that the whole show.
Yeah, we've been saying this whole time. Ted, you're great, but your father skills are really lacking.
Ted says something that I missed. This is the third time I've seen this episode, I would say, that I missed the first two times. Ted says he's scared of getting close to his little boy because he knows he's going to leave.
Right. Okay.
Me, the father whose daughter left to college, that really hit home.
Right. Well, he's not dealing with his true emotions, and he's afraid of pain and hurt. And so he pushes it away.
16 months ago, not last Christmas, the Christmas before, I thought, how have I lived my daughter's 17 years without it smacking me in the face that she was just going to stop living in our house and go away for 6 months?
Right.
It was
well,
shocking.
I think let's get really deep. How do all of us live when we know everyone will leave at some point?
It's very connected.
Through death.
I like that.
Through death.
Really good point.
How do we live knowing death is part of our life?
We know we're headed that way. We consider it briefly, and then we try to enjoy the moment.
Right. We basically push it out of our mind, but you have to deal with it a little bit, perhaps, to be emotionally available and happier. I don't know.
Do we want to talk about what's wrong with Jamie? Is that not as interesting?
Well, Jamie, it is interesting. I enjoyed it. It seemed a little crazy, though. He's just absolutely goes into mush, into despair. He seems depressed. He's saying basically real non-selfish things, but in a downcast way. His enthusiasm is all gone, right?
Yeah, he's lost his mojo. He's got no more zip, no more passion for the game. Really not a passion for life.
Right. They need him to be a prick on the field. And yeah, he needs to, he's like in a depression. He's gone into depression.
I hear a lot of coaches talk about you need to know your why.
You need to know your what?
your why. And
Oh,
what I mean, your reason for doing the thing you're doing. Why are you playing football? Um, why are you spending your time the way you spend your time? And his why used to be to show his dad up. He hates his dad. And so that disappears because he doesn't care about his dad. So now he's kind of empty.
right. He's pretty empty. Um, Roy and Keeley kind of band together to try to help him, right? So that's the comic effect.
Funny scene in that they follow Roy. So Keeley used to date Jamie, then Keeley dated Roy, and now all those relationships are over. Roy did spend the night a week ago at Keeley's house. They follow Jamie, their friend. They want to help him. They follow him to his childhood home. Going to see his mother seems to fix things.
Right. And it's kind of weird if he seems extremely close to his mother.
That's
Well,
way
why
out.
haven't you been talking to your mother on the phone about this before?
Yeah.
Why doesn't your mom go to the game later? I don't get that. They're in the same city. Get your mom a box seat. What's going on? Why is your mom at home? Is that some kind of superstition, maybe? Okay, but I found that really strange because he's excessively close with his mother when he gets there. He doesn't have to seem to have any issue with his mother at all. So it's kind of like out of nowhere, but it's still it's a show. I get it, and it works.
Did you notice the Wizard of Oz stuff?
I saw the Wizard of Oz pinball machine.
Boy, that'll jump out at you because when have you ever seen one of those?
When have you ever seen one? It's good. It's a good theme, I guess, is what I'm saying for pinball. I haven't seen a pinball machine in quite some time, actually.
Mm.
But I honestly have never seen Wizard of Oz in its entirety. I've seen a lot of sequels, and
What's
I've
the
enjoyed
plot
them.
you know about in the Wizard of Oz?
It's black and white. There's a tornado. She goes with her dog, Toto, to the Wizard of Oz. And at the end, the wizard is like a sham, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
the
does
wizard's a
Dorothy do
sham.
at the end?
She hits her little red ruby slippers and she goes back to Kansas. Yes.
Yeah.
The lion
So
gets its heart, or maybe the Tin Man gets its heart.
I
I don't
wonder if
remember.
Ted's son, do they still live in Kansas? I mean, he's wearing the Kansas City
I
shirts.
assume they do live in Kansas. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there must be some tie there, but
So we also get Somewhere Over the Rainbow, right? You notice that?
I didn't notice that.
So Somewhere Over the Rainbow is a song playing in there. The team, I guess, is watching You've Got Mail.
Right. At first, I thought it was Sleepless in Seattle, but then I'm like, they've been in a lot of movies together. I'm not sure what it is.
It was You've Got Mail, and I looked it up and looked at that scene again. So I think you could do a lot with Wizard of Oz parallels, but I think at a minimum, maybe Ted's going to go home.
Right. Ted's in a new land right now, but really he needs to go back home to
Yeah.
solve things. Yeah. To
And
repair his relationships.
he's a dad, and his son misses him.
Right. And he's in a different country. So yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So
And if I was the ex-wife, maybe I'll go to London. Get me a work permit, ex-husband. You're a rich
maybe not even work. Maybe you don't have to
yeah,
work.
you're a guy who's a coach in the Premier League. Get me an apartment in London. I'll bring your son. We'll have a little London life for a while.
Yes.
I mean, maybe she wouldn't want to do that, but I'm just saying it's an option.
Well, it's because she's in a relationship, a serious relationship.
Yeah, but I feel like that's going to break up. Yeah.
Yeah. You got bad vibe. We didn't even see them this time, right? Nothing.
Yeah. No, nothing. Yeah.
Nothing from the son, nothing from the couple. Okay. So if you want to do, I'm going to do weird town names in a minute, but one more episode. Do you have questions? Are you excited
A
about
couple
seeing that?
questions. First, when they're at the bar, Mace has a long poem. What is that poem that she's
Oh,
reciting?
I know. I didn't look that
I was
up.
like, obviously this is a poem, but I don't know it.
Yeah.
It was a good poem too.
I have a quote from it. Well, now it gives it away, but I'm going to read a quote from that poem in a bit. No, I'm
Okay.
not.
Yeah.
I'm going to refer to that conversation in a minute.
Okay, so I thought that was interesting. Mom spending a week in a hostel. Mom, please spring for a hotel room. You're too old for a hostel. But it got some laughs. Isaac, Colin, and the equipment guy asking Nate to come back. I thought really weird. Like, why are they even thinking about Nate? I was kind of surprised about that.
How did they know he was there?
Right, and how did they were really betrayed by Nate and they felt very
They were.
angry about it. So I feel like they really turned really quickly into wanting Nate back.
Yep.
The explanation last episode of Nate being really good at things, I found to be helpful because now they're like, oh, Nate's a great waiter too. He's thinking about things that you don't, that normal people maybe don't examine as much. And so I get the appeal of Nate a little better. So I think that helped me a little bit. He's a great waiter. He's applying himself. He's thinking about it. The Keeley points with Keeley and her new employee, Barbara, had a funny sequence with Roy. That was pretty good. So I enjoyed that.
Oh yeah, that was funny. So Roy keeps tagging on to anything he says to Keely, and you look very nice.
Right. And she's like, oh, I got this at a thrift shop.
And then, well, right, and then he's obviously left Barbara out of it, so he doesn't even mean it. But Barbara really overreacts to being told she looks nice.
Right, exactly. So funny stuff there. Also, Coach Pep, I've heard the name Pep before, but I don't really know him. He must be some kind of John Wooden legend-esque guy.
Yeah, I think he's the man. Do they call him managers? What do they call him?
Managers.
I think he's the manager of Manchester City.
He's the gaffer, right? Isn't it gaffer?
Thank you. That's the word I wanted.
Yeah, I've heard the name, but I don't know.
They were really excited to meet him.
Yeah, they were excited.
And it was a big deal among the cast that he was there.
Right. Yes.
Bob Knight and Blue Chips, I guess.
He didn't even seem that old though. Yeah.
Yeah, right. He didn't. So I think we'll get to a couple other things that we didn't talk about yet. But there's a town mentioned. Oh, Tooting. Is somebody from Tooting? Tooting.
I forget what happens in Tooting. But
so
Tooting
Ted's like, I can't believe you have a town named Tooting. And that made me think of some weird town names. I ask you to try to think of some weird town names that you know of.
Okay, I didn't look these up. I tried to think of them from my head, to be fair. Yep. And I only came up with 4, and they're all in Indiana.
Yep.
The first one is the town we lived in, 12 Mile. I mean, that's a funny name.
I didn't write it. It's a good one, 12 Mile.
We moved to a town called 12 Mile. And I believe I was always told it was because it was 12 miles from 3 surrounding cities, Peru, Rochester, and Logansport. I don't know if that's true.
That's what I heard as well.
Yeah. So 12 Mile, funny name.
Good one. I can't believe I didn't think of
12 Mile 500, probably run this weekend sometime.
I think it's more of a 4th of July thing.
You don't think they do it at the same time as the Big 500? Okay.
I don't. I once was, I can't remember why I didn't end up doing it. I was going to make a documentary of the little 500 where they race the lawnmower, and I ended up having to cancel. It was a really good reason. And I think they were pretty mad at me.
Oh, bummer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
sorry, guys. I couldn't help it. I can't remember.
Do you have one? Do you want to go back and forth?
You want to go back and forth? Sure. French Lick.
Oh, I wrote that one down too.
Pretty weird.
French Lick, where Larry Bird is from.
Yeah, and he actually, I forget his high school. It was like Springdale, I
don't know. I think French Lick is from the Springs or something there, right?
So French Lick, pretty weird name. We both had it. Go ahead.
Santa Claus, Indiana. Had a theme park. We went there as children with our grandparents.
I think they changed it to like Holiday World, didn't they?
It's Holiday World now, but when we were a child, it was Santa Claus Land, and the town is still called Santa Claus, Indiana.
You think they gave in to like, I don't know, PC? We want
maybe, but also
because I think now we've gotten to a point now where it'd be okay to be Santa Claus.
Yeah, I think so, but don't you think it gives it more of a? We don't have to go there just on Christmas. We can go there anytime. Yeah.
Holidays.
Yeah.
But yeah, right. I had that one as well, Ann.
Okay.
All right. So I have Chile, which is spelled chili, which is right by Denver, Mexico, and Peru.
Oh, in Indiana. I've never heard of Chile. And I can't believe that's how you pronounce it.
So North Miami High School, where it was my first teaching and coaching job, I think its address was Denver, Indiana, which and then also in that county was Chile. Mexico is a little town. Peru is a bigger town. It was the biggest town of those 4.
I remember Mexico. Yeah.
You're forgetting one of do you have any more?
I have one more, and that's Gnawbone. Gnawbone, Indiana. I think it's in the South somewhere. I think I've seen it when I was at school at IU. So Gnawbone.
I'm going to name one that really will strike a chord with you, and you'll say, I should have put that down.
Hit me.
It's actually one of your favorite town names in the country.
Really?
Seven Devils.
Oh, right. For North Carolina. Yes.
You love Seven Devils.
I do love Seven Devils. I don't think it's crazy, but it is a unique name. I like it. Yeah. I like the darkness. What's the other town I like around there? Name some other weird towns around you.
Another weird name town?
Seven Devils. Is there one that's Spanish? Has like a Spanish name? Oh, what's the one right next to you? That's where
Banner
the
Elk.
no, the one by your house where
Oh,
the
Valley Crucis.
Valley Crucis. I like that too. Well,
Yeah,
that's not weird, but
that's where I am.
yeah, I like that name.
The rest are from North Carolina. Duck.
Right, sure. Duck.
Duck, pretty weird.
I wore my duck shirt last weekend. It was nice.
Bat Cave.
I after I did this, I looked up some online and that one came up.
Which is over, I think, kind of by Asheville.
I live actually very close to where they filmed the Bat Cave at Bronson Cave, I think it's called.
And then my last town name in the same county as me, Meat Camp.
Oh, that's right. I hate Meat Camp. Yeah, you looked at a house in Meat Camp, I think, or off of
You were
Meat
like,
Camp.
Meat Camp?
And I was like, I could never write Meat Camp on an envelope.
I would rather live in Meat Camp than Seven Devils, according to like where the
Right,
towns are.
not by the name. Yeah,
Not by the name, though. Yeah. Meat Camp. I've gotten used to it. You get used to it, right?
it just makes me think of blood, and it's like when Tom Cruise hit somebody with his meat cleaver in the first part of the movie.
All right, I've got some. I'll read you some quotes. I have 7, but I think some of them we've covered. Just tell me if you can remember who said it in what context in the show. Shouting is Roy's love language.
Who said it? I have no idea. Higgins, maybe?
Trick Krim when Roy calls Jamie into the boot room.
Okay, right.
So he calls Jamie in. He's like, "What's the matter with you?" And Jamie immediately starts crying.
Right, just bawling. Yeah.
Your mom and dad F you up. They don't mean to, but they do. They fill you up with the faults they had, and they add some extra just for you.
I do remember the quote. I can't think of who said it. Somebody's obviously counseling.
May says it to Ted.
Oh, right. May. I should have known it was May.
So I'm going to go out on a limb and say, I don't think our parents effed us up at all.
I think she's being maybe too harsh to parents, but I think it's more like you get a lot of qualities from your parents, and sometimes you're going to struggle with some of those qualities you've gotten.
If they gave us something to struggle with a little bit, it might be being pretty closed off emotionally.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of in the DNA maybe, but yeah.
I can't really, you think that's a DNA thing, not a conditioning thing?
Obviously, it has to do with a little bit of conditioning, but I can't imagine just having a completely different personality.
Mm-hmm.
Right? My personality, okay, maybe a closeness within your family would be a more conditioning thing. Like, oh, you're going to snuggle on the couch or something. But me talking to strangers and behaving differently to the outside world, I have trouble thinking that's not my personality.
Yeah.
That's ingrained within me.
So you're eating, they didn't give you that.
No, I think that has to do with my health issues as a child. Yes.
Yeah.
They definitely didn't, although they're not adventurous eaters.
They are not adventurous.
But they do eat things that are stuck in front of them.
Yeah. Okay. I've literally never thought about work after work. I'm just going to stop there because the next part would give it away.
Yeah, brilliant and true, Jade. I'm a hostess. I don't think about this crap. I don't even think of my work very often outside of work hours. Occasionally, but very rare. And that's the joy. You don't need to think about it.
Yeah. So like that's the opposite of knowing your why. So
right.
Yeah, it's like I'm going to be a coach and I've got a big why, and I've chosen to be a teacher and I've got a big why. But I think about work every 5 minutes, if not more, every 15 minutes.
Right. And Nate was thinking about being a waiter at home. And
she said, like, it's weird how good of a waiter you are.
Right. Yeah.
Just always got plans. Right. All right. 4 more maybe, Ann. This is kind of fun. I wish I did quotes every time. Hurt people hurt people.
No idea who said that. Maybe somebody to Jamie about his dad, or
yes, Ted to Jamie talking about his dad and Freddy Krueger.
Oh right, Freddy Krueger. Yeah,
because they were talking about like during the match, Jamie's worried about, is his dad here, and where is he sitting?
Right.
And then where does his dad seem to be?
I don't recognize his dad by sight. Did we see his dad? Or
I think we had a shot of his dad.
Were those ordinary fans yelling at him, or were they? Because we kept on getting that ordinary same guy.
Fans. Yeah.
Okay.
I think Jamie's dad looks like he's in a rehab center.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
or he's in a halfway house. He's in a room full of kind of rough looking dudes sitting on a couch as if
Oh, okay.
he's
And
trying to get.
Jamie's dad, if he could have been a decent human being, you'd be living the high life right now.
Yes, he would be.
You are a huge football fan, and your son would be a football star
When they
in
go
England.
shots of
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark's parents, that's who he
He
could.
would he would also be, Jamie would be, I don't think they really they touch on it a little bit, but these guys are incredibly rich.
Right.
Yeah. And they
They
don't
don't.
touch on it too much.
I mean, they just jump into cars. They have nice houses.
Yeah. We see a
Colin
nice
essentially,
car, we
it's
see a
almost
nice
like
house.
Colin lives in a condo.
Right. Yeah. And it's like these guys, they're making $100 million, right? I mean, over 5 years or something.
Jamie is. Jamie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not. Yeah.
Roy should have tons in the bank,
I think I only have two more.
Okay.
And the first one will be a lock. You'll get it. I hope that, and this is a pretty famous one, I think, for the whole show. I hope that either all of us or none of us are judged by our weakest moments, but rather by the strength we show, whether and if we are given a second chance.
Right. It had to be Ted, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's his philosophy in life. He's telling Beard after he shows the video of
Ted's
Nate.
sitting there watching Nate tear up the sign where he betrays the team and hide it under the desk. And he says that to Beard.
Right. Which also, Beard has a nice scene at the end with Nate. That's the one I saw on TikTok a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, Beard, you should be forgiving. And frankly, Beard, you did it like 3 times, right? He got him out of prison, he gave him a job, and then he stole his car. The stolen car would have been like, okay.
So I think we see a fair amount. People really hammering someone about a problem they also have.
Right, right.
So to Beard's credit, when Ted says that line to him, Beard he immediately knows that Ted is right, and he immediately knows what he has to do.
Right. He knows what Ted's doing, showing him the video. Yeah, he understands it all, but they do it anyway.
And I continue to love Roy for his self-assuredness. Roy, you got any problems with us bringing Nate back? No, none at all. He's good at all the things I'm not.
Right. Everybody else is really good at it. Yeah. Really good about it. Really.
All right. Last line. Pretty short, kind of a tough one. All we can do is keep playing.
All we can do is keep playing. I'm really going to go out on a limb and say the mom says it to Ted.
Yeah,
Yes.
nailed it. What's the context of that?
I guess it must have been at the dinner scene at the end, and she's just like, "This is how we get past our problems." It's
about being a parent. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Just keep being a
Your
parent.
dad killed himself. I didn't really know how to deal with it, so I just kept living. Yeah.
Scott Van Pelt, the thing he says probably too much on his podcast is stay in the fight.
Stay in the fight. Or what does Michael McConaughey just keep living?
Just keep living. That's what he said.
Yeah, JKL.
There we go. All we can do is keep playing. I guess I will. Flipping straights was a new term for me. Do you remember that?
I do remember that, and I don't know what it means.
I think
Is it cards like poker?
I think it means it's said about Freddie Mercury, and Freddie Mercury says it's his greatest talent. I think it means turning a straight guy gay for a night.
Oh, okay.
So Freddie, and Freddie Mercury, if he really said that or not, I don't know.
Right. Well, that would have gotten a little better laugh if I knew what it meant.
Flipping straight.
I was like,
what a phrase.
Poker? Yeah, poker straight.
We left out that Rebecca, the owner of the team, also appears in Mission Impossible.
She does, doing an American accent. Actually, I thought she was pretty effective being like this person who could be in the army.
Yeah.
Right.
She didn't have much to go on. She just was.
She didn't have much to do. Yeah. It was weird. I don't know what the connection with her and the president was, but yeah.
Yeah, they were okay.
They were in war together, I guess.
And then the last thing.
And are there any women aircraft admirals? Whatever.
Oh, you just reminded me of the girls and I were going strengths and weaknesses of the film. I think it was Izzy who said, or it might have been Charlotte. I guess I can't remember. The women in power in this movie.
Yeah, we had a president.
Yeah,
we had an aircraft carrier head. I don't know what they're called, but
and we had, the president.
We had that diver. We had that diver lady. Yeah, We had
And
the
then
Inuit Indian lady. Yeah.
members of like the spy
Right.
posse. Yeah. So they were
Right.
everywhere. So that was
Yeah,
good.
good job. We like to see
Nice,
it.
nice notice by one of my girls. I don't know which one said it.
Right. I thought the diving lady was pretty effective. Like I believe her as a diver like that,
Yeah.
as a Navy diver.
Ethan Hunt did not take good care of her diving suit.
No, he didn't.
He cut it
Yeah.
off.
Going into a tube like that, I don't want to do it. And also, why did that guy try to kill him on the treadmill?
He's one of the people who believes that the entity should take over.
Oh, okay. So
Remember, they were
even lower people are thinking this.
They were embedded everywhere, said some news report. Like
Okay.
the police and the
So
military.
they're like the conspiracy people on the internet right now.
Yes, they're right. They're everywhere. So I think next week Richmond will play for the title.
Richmond will play for the title, and my prediction: Ted will quit and go back. But
Will they
we'll see.
win?
I don't know. That's a great question. I think you could write it either way.
Yeah. So will Richmond win the title? Will Ted go back home?
Yeah, you can write it effectively either way.
So they for the third season in a row, they come together, and Rebecca says it's a tradition. No truth bomb this year.
What was her truth bomb the previous year? I know what it was the first year.
Yeah, I don't know what the second one was.
Yeah, the first year was I was trying to make this team lose. Yeah.
What was the second year? Maybe one of us will figure it out and remind us.
I don't know.
So this year it was Ted said
Ted has one. It has to be he's gonna quit. Yeah.
Seems like. All right.
Yeah.
All right, Ann, good to see you.
Right. Go Pacers.
Go Pacers. Thanks for
listening. I hope all you listeners are luxuriating in a third Pacer win, but we'll see.
Oh yeah, because by the time you hear this, game 3 will have happened.
It'll be
We're
over.
okay either way. We like our chances.
We're okay either way. We still believe.
All right. See you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Smart takes the shot, and the Hoosiers with 3 seconds. Go ahead.
But what we found out is that each one of us is a brain and an athlete
and a basket case, a princess,
and a criminal. Does that answer your question?
I love you guys.